I was kicked out of my son's wedding. The bride said that my presence would make the atmosphere heavy. And he didn't say anything. He just lowered his head like he did when he was a child and broke something. But what no one expected was what would come next. Because among the guests there was a judge, and she recognized me from the audience. They called me Mrs. Lucia my entire life. 58 years on my back, calloused hands from so much scrubbing, so much cleaning, so much work, gray hair that I stubbornly refused to dye because I like to show every strand one with pride. Every wrinkle on my face tells a story. Every mark on my hands is proof that I fought, and I fought a lot. I raised my son alone since he was 3 years old. His father disappeared on an ordinary Tuesday, left a scribbled note on the kitchen table. I can't take it anymore. Sorry. And I never saw even his shadow again. I remember the day as if it were yesterday. I came home from work and found the boy playing alone in the living room. I asked where his father was. He pointed to the note with his little dirt-stained finger. I read it once, twice, 3 times, as if the words would change in meaning, as if it were a nightmare and I would wake up. But I didn't wake up. I sat on the kitchen floor and cried. I cried so much that the boy came to hug me. He hugged me with those small arms and said, "Don't cry, Mommy. I'll take care of you." And that's how our life began. Just the 2 of us against the world. I worked at everything. Housekeeper from Monday to Friday. Cook on weekends. Babysitter whenever the opportunity arose. I ironed clothes at midnight while he slept. I got up at 5 in the morning to leave lunch ready before he went to school. There were days when I came home so tired that I could barely stand. But I looked at him doing his homework at the kitchen table and found the strength to keep going. He was always intelligent, good grades, exemplary behavior, teachers praising him. I was so proud. It felt like I had won the lottery. When he wanted to do a preparatory course, I did 2 extra cleaning jobs per week. When he needed school supplies, I cut my hair at home to save money. When he wanted to study English, I sold the old television and bought a correspondence course. Every sacrifice was worth it, because I saw him growing up, graduating, becoming the man I always dreamed he would become. The day he passed his law school entrance exam was the happiest day of my life. He came home running, shouting, picked me up and spun me around the living room. "Mom, I made it. I got first place." I cried so much that he got worried, but it was tears of joy. It was the cry of someone who saw their child conquer the world. College was expensive, very expensive. I did the math and saw that it wouldn't be feasible. Even working twice as much, I couldn't afford to pay for it. That's when I looked at my wedding rings, the only valuable things I had. Wedding rings that I had kept for years, even after being abandoned. I don't know why. Maybe out of stubbornness. Maybe out of hope. I took them to a jewelry store downtown. The man weighed them, evaluated them, and offered me an amount that would pay for the first semester. "Are you sure, ma'am? These are beautiful pieces. Old. I'm sure. My son needs to study." I walked out of there with the money in my hand and my heart heavy. It wasn't sadness. It was relief. Finally, those rings would be used for something good. During the 5 years of college, I worked myself to the bone. Took on more houses to clean, started selling sweets on the street, cooked meals for construction workers, all to keep him studying. He was diligent, always was, stayed late at the library, participated in study groups, took unpaid internships to gain experience. I used to feel proud when he came home telling me about his classes, his teachers, and his friends. I could see that he was in a different world from mine, a world of opportunities that I never had. In his last year of college, he met Carla, the daughter of a judge. Rich, beautiful, well-educated. Everything I wasn't. When he brought her home for the first time, I went all out. I cleaned the entire house, bought soda, and made a cake. I wanted to make a good impression, but I saw in her eyes that our simple house didn't impress her at all. She looked at the old furniture, the peeling walls, at me with that polite but distant smile. "Nice to meet you, Mrs. Lucia. Raphael talks a lot about you." Lies. I felt it was a lie, but I smiled back and offered her some coffee. Over time, I noticed he was changing. He started to dress differently, talk differently. Even the way he walked changed. When he graduated, I sold the remaining ring to buy his graduation outfit. I wanted him to look impeccable that day. The ceremony was beautiful. When they called his name, I screamed so loud that people stared. I didn't care. It was my son there, in a cap and gown, achieving the dream we built together. After graduation, he got a job at a good office, a salary I never dreamed of having in my entire life. He moved to a better apartment, bought a car, started a serious relationship with Carla, but he also started visiting me less. The calls became less frequent. Sunday lunches turned into a quick coffee. When I asked if everything was all right, he said yes, that he was just busy with work, with Carla's college, with new friends. I believed him, or pretended to believe him. Mothers have this habit of not wanting to see what hurts. One day, I was passing by the restaurant where he usually took Carla. I saw them inside, having dinner with an older couple. I walked in to greet them. He was embarrassed. Introduced the couple as Carla's parents. Introduced me as... pause. Hesitation. My mother. As if it were a burden. As if he was apologizing for my existence. Carla's parents were polite, cordial, but cold. They asked what I did for a living, where I lived, with that tone of voice that already knew I wasn't at their level. I left there with my heart in my throat. For the first time, I felt ashamed of who I was, ashamed of my calloused hands, ashamed of not having studied, ashamed of being poor. I got home and cried for the girl I was, who didn't have the opportunity to study, cried for the woman I became, who worked so hard to give my son what I didn't have, cried for the son I raised, who now felt ashamed of me. His visits became even rarer. He called occasionally, always in a rush. "Hi, Mom, how are you? I'm in a hurry, we'll talk later." Later never came. When they got engaged, I found out from the neighbor. She saw it in the town newspaper. There was the picture of the two, smiling, with the headline, "Future lawyer and judge's daughter announce engagement." I wasn't in the picture. I didn't know about the engagement. My own son hadn't told me. I called him that night. "Son, I heard you got engaged. Congratulations." Silence on the other end of the line. "Mom, I was going to tell you. I'm just organizing things." "Organizing what? Are you getting married?" "We are, but it's going to be a small ceremony. Just close family." Close family. I was the only family he had, but I wasn't close enough. In the following months, I tried to get closer, offered help with the preparations, asked if they needed anything. Always got the same response. "No need to worry, Mom. Everything is under control." Control. Everything under control except me. A week before the wedding, I received the call that changed everything. "Mom, I need to talk to you." His voice was different, nervous, trembling. "Hey, son. Carla's family wants something more intimate, more private. They think it would be better if you didn't come." I gripped the phone so tightly my hand went white. "Son, I don't understand." "Didn't go where?" "To the wedding, Mom. It would be better if you didn't go to the wedding." The world stopped. Literally stopped. I could hear my breathing, my heart beating, but I couldn't form a single word. "Mom, are you there? I'm here. Just trying to understand. Are you uninviting me to your wedding? It's not like that. It's just that, you know how it is. They have a standard. And you, and I what, son?" Silence. "I what? You're too simple, Mom. You'll stand out. Too simple." I was too simple for my own son's wedding. "Son, I raised you alone. Worked 3 jobs so you could study. Sold my wedding rings to pay for your college. How can I be too simple for your wedding?" "Mom, I know, and I'm grateful, but it's different. You don't understand this world." "What world?" "The world I paid for you to enter?" "Mom, please, don't make it complicated. It's just one day. Just one day. The most important day of your life. And you don't want me there. I do want you there. But it's better this way. You understand, right?" No, I didn't understand. How could a mother understand being excluded from her own son's wedding? "Son, I'll think about it. Thank you, Mom. You've always been understanding." Understanding. I was understanding. I had been understanding when his father disappeared. Understanding when I had to work double shifts. Understanding when he started to be ashamed of me. But this time, I wasn't going to be understanding. I hung up the phone and cried. I cried for 3 days straight. I cried until I had no tears left. On the 4th day, I got up, took a shower, did my hair, and went to buy a dress. Navy blue, simple but beautiful. Low shoes, comfortable. Small purse, discreet. On Saturday, the wedding day, I got ready calmly. I put on lipstick, a little bit of face powder. I looked at myself in the mirror and liked what I saw. I was simple, but I wasn't ugly. I wasn't poorly dressed. I wasn't a reason for shame. I arrived at the church 15 minutes before the ceremony. I stayed way in the back, discreet. I just wanted to see my son get married. The church was beautiful. White flowers, soft music, well-dressed guests. I felt out of place, but I didn't leave. When my son entered, my heart raced. He was handsome. Elegant suit, well-cut hair, nervous smile. My boy had turned into a man. He saw me. Our eyes met for a second. I saw surprise in his eyes. Then, disappointment, as if I had betrayed him. The ceremony began. I followed every word, every gesture. When they asked if anyone objected to the marriage, my heart almost stopped. But I didn't move. It wasn't the time to object. It was the time to accept that I had lost my son. They said yes. They kissed. Everyone applauded. I just watched. When everyone was leaving for the party, a security guard approached me, a big man, in a black suit, with an unfriendly look. "Ma'am, you need to leave. I am the mother of the groom. Orders from the organization. Please." I looked forward. My son was there, with the bride on his arm, receiving congratulations. He saw me being approached by the security guard, and he turned his face away. He turned his face away and continued talking as if nothing was happening, as if his mother wasn't being expelled from his own wedding. I left the church walking firmly. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of seeing me cry. I walked to my car, that white Palio I bought used 10 years ago. I got in, closed the door, and broke down. I cried like I hadn't cried in years. I cried for the girl I was, who dreamed of being a mother. I cried for the woman I became, who worked so hard to give everything to her son. I cried for the son I raised, who was now ashamed of me. It was when someone knocked on the glass. I raised my head and saw an elegant woman. Well-cut blonde hair, expensive clothes, a smile I recognized immediately. "Mrs. Lucia?" I got out of the car in disbelief. It was Fernanda, the girl I took care of when she was 8 years old. I had been working at her family's house for almost 3 years. Her mother was sick, with severe depression. She spent days without leaving her room. The father traveled a lot for work. Fernanda was somewhat abandoned. She was doing poorly in school. She cried at night. She had nightmares. When I started working there, she was a sad child, thin, poorly cared for hair, always with a scared look on her face. I wasn't just there to clean the house. I was there to take care of her too, to take her to school, help with homework, make dinner, give her a bath. At first she was wary. She didn't talk much. She stayed in her room, playing alone. But gradually, she began to open up. She started looking for me when she was scared. She would come to talk to me while I cleaned. She asked me to tell her stories before bed. I got attached to that girl as if she were my daughter. I took care of her with affection. I did her hair, chose her clothes, helped with homework. When she had chicken pox, I was the one who took care of her. When she broke her arm, I took her to the hospital. When her mother had a crisis and was hospitalized, I was the one who pulled through. It was 3 years like that. 3 years taking care of her as if she were my own, until her mother got better. Her father got a job that didn't require travel. They no longer needed me. On the last day, Fernanda cried. She cried so much that I cried too. Mrs. Lucia, I don't want you to leave. Dear, your mother is better. She can take care of you now. But I like you. You taught me not to be afraid of the dark. And you will remember. Every time you are afraid, you will remember that I taught you to be brave. I left that house with a broken heart. Not only because I was losing my job, but because I was losing a daughter. Fernanda was 8 years old when I left. Now she was here, in front of the church, in her early 30s. A grown woman, elegant and successful. And she recognized me. My God, how are you? It's been so long. I couldn't speak. I just cried, and she realized something was wrong. What happened? Why are you crying? Fernanda, I was kicked out of my son's wedding. She got serious. She took my hand gently. What do you mean, kicked out? They said I didn't fit in, that it would be better if I didn't go. Who said that? My son and the bride's family. Her face changed completely. She turned into the judge. She was in court. You took care of me when I needed it most. You gave me love when no one else did. You taught me to be strong. Oh dear, you remember that? Of course I remember. You took me to school every day. You helped me with my homework. You stayed in my room when I had nightmares. She hugged me right there on the sidewalk. You were more of a mother to me than any nanny I ever had. You saved me. I was just doing my job. It wasn't just a job. You loved me. I felt it. And it was true. I loved that girl as if she were my daughter. I cared for her with the same affection I had for my own son. Come with me. You're going into that church. No, dear. Better not. It'll cause trouble. It won't cause any trouble. And if it does, I'll handle it. Fernanda took me by the hand to the church entrance. The same security guard who had kicked me out came toward us. Dr. Fernanda, do you need anything? Yes. This lady is coming in and sitting wherever she wants. But doctor, the organization requested... I didn't ask what the organization requested. I'm telling you what's going to happen. Her tone was that of someone used to giving orders and being obeyed. This woman took care of me when I was a child. She is more important at this ceremony than any other guest. But doctor, no buts. She goes in. Now. We went in together. Fernanda took me to a row in the middle of the church and sat down next to me. You don't have to do this, sweetheart. I do. You deserve to be here. Don't bow your head. The party had already started. Music, dancing, people talking. My son saw me coming in. So did the bride, her whole family. Everyone looked at me as if I were an intruder. But I wasn't. I was the mother, the woman who worked 3 jobs to pay for his college. Fernanda didn't leave my side. She took me to a table and introduced me to her colleagues. This is Mrs. Lucia. She took care of me when I was a child. She is a very special person. People listened. They asked questions. And for the first time that day, I felt seen. Mrs. Lucia taught me how to make brigadeiro and how to braid hair and not to be afraid of thunder. You made the best porridge in the world and sang me to sleep. You took me to the park every Sunday, even when you were tired. The stories kept coming, memories I had forgotten, moments that marked her life. My son came to talk to me only once, quickly, a bit awkwardly. Mom, I didn't expect you to come. I know, but I came. Thank you for being here. I didn't come for you, son. I came for me. He had no answer, because it was true. I wasn't there to bless his wedding. I was there to have no regrets. Mom, Fernanda told me you know each other. I took care of her when she was a child. She was a little doll. She said you were very important in her life. I was, just like you were important in mine. He got the message. He bowed his head and left. Fernanda stayed with me until the end of the party. When the bride threw the bouquet, she pulled me close. Go on, Mrs. Lucia, you might catch it. Oh, sweetheart, my time has passed. It's never passed. Love has no age. I didn't catch the bouquet, but I got something much better. I got the certainty that the love we plant will bloom one day. Fernanda drove me home at the end of the night. We stayed talking in the car for almost an hour. You saved my childhood, you know that? Don't mention it, dear. You really did. I was lost, sad, scared. You taught me that it was possible to be happy. You were always special. You just needed some affection, and you gave it to me. Even making little money, even having your own problems. You gave me plenty of love. We stayed silent. I kept thinking about how strange life is, how people come and go, how the love you plant can blossom where you least expect it. Fernanda, do you have kids? I do. 2, a boy and a girl. And when they grow up, I'll tell them about you. Tell them what? How important it is to remember those who took care of us. How true love is never forgotten. I cried again, but this time it was different. It wasn't pain. It was gratitude. I have something for you. Fernanda rummaged through her bag and took out a photo. An old, yellowed photo from when she was a child. In the photo, she was on my lap. I was combing her hair, both of us smiling at the camera. I've kept this for over 20 years. Every time I look at it, I remember your affection. My God, I didn't even remember this photo. I never forgot. You taught me that there are good people in the world, and that we have to be grateful. I took the photo with trembling hands. There I was, younger, more hopeful, and there she was, small, confident, happy. Keep it with you, Mrs. Lucia, for you to remember that you made a difference in someone's life. When I got home that night, I placed the photo on the living room table. I looked at it for a long time. I understood one thing. Not all love returns from where we expect. Sometimes it comes back from places we didn't even remember we planted it. My son forgot me, or pretended to forget, but Fernanda remembered, and she became someone important, a judge, respected, someone who makes a difference in the world. Doesn't that mean more than a son who is ashamed of his own mother? I don't know. It still hurts. I still wake up in the middle of the night thinking about that day, thinking about how he turned his face when he saw me being expelled. But I also think about Fernanda, about how she defended me, how she introduced me to people as someone special. There is love that we plant without expecting anything in return, and there is love that comes back when we least expect it. Today, 3 months after the wedding, I understand that being a mother is no guarantee of anything. You can give everything of yourself and still be forgotten. You can sacrifice your dreams for your child's dreams and still be considered a burden. But being human is about all the lives you touch, all the children you love, all the affection you give without expecting anything in return. I touched Fernanda's life, and she touched mine back. My son may be ashamed of me, but I'm not ashamed of me. I did the best I could, with the conditions I had, with the love I had to give, and if he ever has children, I hope he never has to experience the pain of being forgotten by them, because that pain is one of the worst there is. But I also hope he understands that being a father is not just about generating life. It's about being present. It's about defending. It's about never letting anyone humiliate your mother. Some wounds do not heal. They just become quieter over time. I still wake up thinking about that day. I still feel my heart ache when I remember the way my son lowered his head. But I also remember the way Fernanda hugged me, the way she said my name with affection, the way she defended me in front of everyone. And I think that's enough for me, for now, because a mother's love has no limits. It has no expiration date. But self-respect is something we earn every day. And that day, in front of that church, I earned mine. Today I know that the love I gave my son was not in vain, even if he has forgotten, even if he is ashamed, because that love taught me to love other people, to take care of Fernanda, to be a heart mother to other children, and that love came back multiplied, in the form of gratitude, in the form of recognition, in the form of a judge who hugged me in front of everyone. If you too have been forgotten by someone you raised with so much love, if someone has tried to erase your story to look cleaner, if you have felt small in the place where you should shine, remember one thing: the love you gave one day comes back, not always from where you expect, but it comes back. And when it comes back, you will understand it was worth it, that every sacrifice had meaning, that every tear watered something good. You have seen the pain. Now come see the origin. I'll meet you there.